Hello everybody, it's me, Sycra. And Jesus, there's a lot of people who like Paint Tool Sci. So I did my previous video where I thought, I'll just experiment with it and hopefully things will go okay. I mean, I'm decent with Photoshop. How hard can Paint Tool Sci be? But it didn't work out that way. It was pretty tough. And I had a lot of problems. For instance, my pressure sensitivity didn't really work. Let's see, what tool am I using? I don't know. Oh, marker. So I set up a marker and I got it to sort of be the way I like a pencil to be. So the settings for that, and I don't know if there's probably way better settings. I just played around a little bit. So I have a small size, minimum size 50%, density 100, blending 50, persistence 80, quality smoothest, edge hardness 59, 77, blah blah blah, 100, whatever, and hard soft 100. And I don't know, I just put whatever, and then does that look okay? Okay, that looks okay. So like that. So now my pressure sensitivity works, and because I'm on a Cintiq, not a tablet, I had to do it a bit differently. So for a tablet, everyone said close Sci and open it again, or unplug your tablet and plug it back in, and pressure sensitivity would work. But yeah, I'm on a Cintiq, so I can't just unplug my Cintiq. So what I used was the this thing, the Wacom tablet preference file utility, and I just went remove, like I closed Sci and I went to remove all user preferences, and that got me the pressure sensitivity back. And then the other thing I did was I turned off pen flicks in Control Panel or something. I'm using Windows 7, and I turned that off. So now when I have a brush, it actually works. Other things. So people were telling me about stabilizer, and that is the coolest thing and makes your lines all nice. Keep trying to put it at 0, but it goes back to 1. But anyway, even at 0, it's really nice and the lines are really smooth. If I use like 4, then I suppose it's smoother. I don't really notice it. The only time I notice it is when it's really high, like 13. And this is almost, I mean, it's similar to how it is, but it's a little bit annoying for me personally because I'm used to arm movements giving me stability anyway. So I don't like, at least in the sketching portion, I don't like stability because I don't need, I don't know, that sounds like a little bit like stuck up, but I don't need your fancy stability. And then when I go to like S7, then I really notice it. Then it's almost like the Sketchbook Pro thing, where it's super smooth. And yeah, it's like, see, that's the thing, super smooth, but if I try and make a circle, it's kind of hard. Whereas if I have stability 0, it's a bit easier to make circles and things just because I can use my arm quickly. But if you're starting out, I can see how stability, would really help. I looked at, I think, a couple of tutorials, and they had stability around 10, so maybe that's a good amount to have it at. Let me read some of the comments that people are leaving. Yeah. Hello, everything's working well. Yep, everything's working well, and this did just start. So now I don't have the zoom problem because I turned off pen flicks. And what else? Yeah, Breno Lemos The only Brazilian here. Well, why doesn't everyone just say where they're from? And that'll be cool. Can we join? I don't know how you can, because I don't have you in Google, and then when I do add lots of people, it goes really slow. So I think for this one, it's just going to be me, but I will pay attention to the chat. All right, so I figured that. Yeah, so there's that. And people were really helpful in terms of giving advice, so I just want to thank everybody who helped me out with Psy and giving me advice and encouraging me to continue, because indeed, it is a pretty cool program, especially when you get to brush. What kind of brush am I using? Yeah, I copied this guy, Zagwazev, I guess he's called. Anyway, I copied his settings for this brush, and then I altered it slightly. I got rid of the dilution. His blending, dilution, and persistence were about 50. Real quick, does anyone know in the chat? See, I can raise this and lower this. That shows the advanced settings. And I can click this so that, it's just like that. But can I drag this out? Can I move these windows around? Because I know I can get rid of them, but I don't want to necessarily get rid of them. I want to move them. Is that possible? Alright, so let's see where everyone's from. France, Germany, California, Argentina, Michigan, Canada, Wales, Scotland, but an Aussie in Scotland. Violet Suki says, I have a big question. I'm about to buy a computer, but I want Photoshop CS6 to work perfectly. I don't know which one should I buy, which one is better, which processor, how many RAM, etc., etc. In my experience, RAM is the only big concern, and I would recommend, anything over 12 gigs should be fine. I'm using 12 gigs of RAM. I have another computer with 16, and it's about the same. It's not like a huge difference. You could probably go lower, but RAM is important, or at least it was. I still think it is, but I think that's just because, if I use an old version of Photoshop, then you don't need much RAM. So anyway, so with the brush, I can do that, and then it blends really nicely, and I see what people were talking about. And also the scratch pad actually works when pressure sensitivity is on. So much of this this program seems to be dependent upon pressure sensitivity working, and if it doesn't, it just doesn't work. Oh, there's more places where people are from. All right, Germany, Brazil, India, Ontario. Where's your Franzanfuri? Bulgaria. Did anyone also tell you minimum size controls pen pressure? Most people just turn it to 0. Most people turn it to 0. Yeah, I get that about minimum size, but I like my size not to vary that much. Anyway. From Scotland, you never knew there was a stabilizer on the program, and you've been using it for 2 years. Yeah, well, everyone told me, so I was lucky. Germany, Rico read Sycra Lithin about what? What do you want to tell me? I've used it for 3 years. I never noticed it. Someone's from Sweden. Go to Windows and go to all the way to the bottom. Window. All the way to the bottom. Reset all window positions. I don't want to do that. Hide command panels. Tab. I don't want to do that. Let's navigate. Oh, I do want that. Let's see, can I drag this one to this side? Just want to know how to move them. Anyway, it's not hugely important. Go to Window and then Show Layer Panel to right. Window, Show Layer Panel to right. Ah, I see. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And then Window, Show Coloring Tool to right. No, don't want to do that. I will... Actually, I want... Yeah. That to that. But I still want this brush thing bigger, that's all. Because right now I still have to, like, do this thing. Water. Water is good. I believe you can move the taskbar to the right. Yeah, okay. Wisconsin, Brazil, Sweden. People are from everywhere. Can't move the stuff in the panel, i.e. the wheel and the brush sizes. It's locked. Israel, Germany, Spain, England, Mexico. What tablet are you using, bro? I'm using a Cintiq 22 HD, so it's not a tablet. Texas, Ukrainian from Glasgow. Now you can't move them, but you can press tab to make the settings disappear temporarily. Right. Right. Alright, that's cool. That's cool. Alright. So now I will try drawing stuff and hopefully it will be okay. So I'm going to use my marker as my pen and don't know what color I want. And zooming, there was a quick way of zooming. Control, yeah, spacebar and control zooms, or it turns your mouse into a zoomer inner, and then holding Alt makes it zoom out, and then spacebar and shift does nothing. Wait. One of them does rotate. There we go. Spacebar and Alt. Holding down spacebar and Alt allows you to rotate. And then you can reset at the top here. Yeah, you can hide the scratch pad to make more room. That's a good idea. I will hide scratch pad. I have a bit more room. And this thing I see is cool. You can like put colors and then control click. Wait, how do you do this? It worked before. Was it alt click? Shift, right, shift click in here and you can make your own, you know, swatches. Shift click and you can move them with control. Hold down control and you can move it, and then alt is just a color picker. But I don't need those, so I don't need swatches. Alright, what else don't I need? I don't need, this thing is cool, it's a gradient thing, so put down your color and then you have a gradient and then you can pick anywhere along that gradient, which seems very useful, but it's taking up space, and that is color mixer, I suppose? Yep. Alright, there we go. Now I have enough space. That's what I want. Good, and I don't even need the hue saturation value one either, so I'll get rid of that. There. Good. Good. Austria. Hello. Someone mentioned editing the misc ini file. That works. Ooh, that sounds hard. Go to misc ini folder and change panel equals 1, and then you can move the stuff on the side anywhere. Ah. Ah. I think the chat is lagging, but you can click the top parts. Blah, blah, blah. Tell him to hit D. I have hit D. I know what D does. It deletes everything on the canvas, so can't fool me. D. Alright, and I want to go back to my marker. And what am I going to draw? Let's draw some faces. Maybe color them. So, I don't know what kind of face I'm going to draw. Let's start with this guy first. And I just want a basic face so I can, you know, have something to color, or ink and then color, so I get to try out some of the tools. So, as I mentioned, I did look at a couple of tutorials, but I haven't actually drawn with the program. I just saw what is possible. And now that the pressure sensitivity is working, it's really nice. It's about as good as photo. It's probably better in some ways, you know, the way the brushes work. I suppose I still prefer Photoshop, but that's just because I'm used to it. And if I was to play around with this some more, I'm sure I could get used to this too. Alright, so it's good enough. I can ink him. Let's see. Anyone using Manga Studio or Sketchbook Pro? I use Sketchbook Pro, but Manga Studio is just it's so expensive to get the version I need. There's like 2 versions, and I don't care at all for the beginning or the basic version. And then it's quite a bit more expensive to get the version that would actually be good for me. But I have heard very good things about it. So I probably will end up getting it later on. But you know what happens when you buy too many things, you know. Going, 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 going. All my money's going, going, going. Yep. So, alright, so I'm gonna make a new layer. Sai just for anime. No, Sai can be used for anything. I will try to use it for painting later. For now, let's use the pen, and I'm going to make it smaller. Oh yeah, there's a fast way of making things smaller. Control-Alt, and then you can change the brush size. So that's what I'll be doing, and I want black. And let's see. Also, yeah, so maybe I will turn on stabilizer. Help me, stabilizer. Not sure how closed all these need to be, but I also do know about pen, what is it, vector layers? So, those are cool. And I will probably use it for some part soon. Right, okay, let me just use a vector layer. So what a vector layer is beside the new layer, there's like a new, this thing, line work 1 vector layer, and I can use the pen, and then when I draw with it, I can edit it. So I can click on edit, and now all these points appear. And I can get rid of the points to smooth out that line, and I just click on them. And I can also move them around by holding down Control, and then, see? It's really cool. It really seems like the type of program that is great for the beginner in a way. And I don't know if it's entirely good though, but it's really easy for a beginner to do stuff. Weight, what is that? What happens if I increase the weight? What does that do? Ah! So I just click on a line and then it changes the line weight. That is pretty amazing. Amazing! Pressure. Adjust CP's pressure. Wow! Wow. This program is really, wow. You can edit a ton of stuff in it. Alright, fine. But I want to just make this a normal layer, so does this merge down? Control E, right? Yep. Nice. Alright, so we got that, and I'll just go back to freehanding, because for me, it's what I like. So I gotta be diligent with my chat. Let's see. I have a question. When you do an illustration from imagination, how do you figure out your light source, or do you use reference or something else? Also there, good exercise, remember light source. Yeah. When I'm making light sources, I think of where's the light coming from, and you have to understand how to light a basic sphere. And I'm going to make a video on lighting. I haven't gotten around to it because I've been really busy and there hasn't been time, but I really want to make an in-depth series on exactly what you're talking about lighting and how to invent lighting. I do not use reference for lighting. However, it's not like that's a bad thing to do. It's just not something I do. GLaDOS. What's Creative Cloud? Creative Cloud is the thing in the internet where you can, it's what Adobe's using, right? Where you can download stuff, the software from the cloud, I guess? I don't know. If you use the bar in the program to make it bigger, its max is 100, but if you use the brackets, it goes to 500. I see. Good to know. Thank you, my Thai. Sai has a 500 limit. Is there a way to remove the brush limits? Blah, blah, blah. I wanted to buy my very first tablet. What type or how much should I pay for one? I think for a very first tablet, you could probably get one under $100, or around that. And of course, I don't know what part of the world you're in and how much tablets cost, but bamboos seem to be a good first choice. There are other alternatives. There's what's it called? Yenova or something. There's Genius tablets. I don't know. I made a video on graphics tablets to buy or not to buy, and in the comments a lot of people wrote down from their experience what tablets they think are good. And for me, I sometimes get asked a lot of tablet questions as if I'm like a Wacom or Wacom spokesperson, but really I don't know. I only know about the stuff I've used, and I haven't used everything, so I don't know. I know I can tell you about a Graphire 4x6 tablet because that's the first one I used, which is similar to a bamboo, and it's good. It's just once you use it for hours and hours a day, the small size is bad for your wrist. But if you use it for, you know, just casual, you should be fine. What else? And then I used an Intuos 3 and an Intuos 4 and a large size. And what else? I don't know what else. Oh, and then the Cintiq, which I'm currently using. If you were really diligent to the chat, you'd draw Totoro eating pizza while watching TV. No, I'm not. Damn you! What does Totoro look like? God, I don't know what Totoro looks like, so... does he have those things on the back as well? I don't know. Okay. And TV. There. There's your Totoro. What, Sycra, what is the art trade? I don't know. Monoprice. Yeah, I've heard about Monoprice being good tablets as well. If you ever need to use a free transform something, you can, using the marquee tool, you can hold control and click on the point so you can have bent marquee box thing on your selection like Photoshop. Okay. So you can, it becomes like a polygonal lasso then, I suppose. Are you going to continue the composition series? Maybe. I'm not sure. I was gonna, Proco, Stan Prokopenko of Proco TV, he did a really good composition tutorial. So, I don't know, maybe I'd just direct people to that one. And his channel is Proco TV. Proco TV. I think that's it. When you get your first tablet, always make sure to check that it's pressure sensitive. I'm saving up for a Cintiq after my computer. What kind of jobs are open to a man with skills such as yourself? The jobs I've been doing lately, there's illustration work. I was doing card art for a while, and I also do work, storyboards, comic books. I haven't tried it yet because I don't know about how much demand there is. But I was actually thinking about maybe doing DeviantArt commissions. I've heard that is kind of good for getting a little bit of income anyway. I know the prices aren't very good, but I figure if, you know, even if you charge $30 and then you finish, you know, 5 a day, if there's that much demand, then it's okay. I mean, it's not good, but it's okay. At least you're doing your own work, and each thing can be a portfolio piece. But I'm still not sure about that right now. I'm just working on comics and storyboards and things. Monicord qui ma olin oma laps momaj maj. I don't understand. What is your opinion on mysterious blood monsters? I don't know what a blood monster is. I don't know at all. So, what is a blood monster? I like that Sycra never has to show his face, and the channel is all about his art, but I miss his beautiful face. When I did the interview with Evan, and I showed myself, I was using... this guy looks so douchey. I was using a... What was I using? I'm losing my train of thought. I was using my laptop, which has a built-in webcam. But it is not what I use with my Cintiq. So if I were to make videos showing myself, I would have to buy a new webcam, which maybe I will. Sorry that the art's going so slow. I'm drawing and then I'm looking at the chat. The neck is not good, make it larger. No. I like it like this. It's exaggeration. I mean, look, the head proportions are not realistic at all, right? And the hair and all that. But I'm not going for that. I'm just... I guess I could say it's my style and get away with it now, because you know, in the beginning you say, well, that's just my style, that's the way I do it, but then you have trouble doing things properly. But I think for me right now, were I to do this guy proportionate, let's say give him a proper neck and proper ears and his hair coming down, I could do that. So now when I do make style choices, it is more because I want it to look like that, not because I can't do it differently. So I don't know what I'm doing with this. I'm gonna erase it. Alright, so now I want to start coloring him. And how do I do that? Men usually have longer eyelashes. Learned a lot from your channel. I was actually able to become a cleanup artist from Skullgirls for a while because of your tutorials. Wow, that's awesome. Have you ever drawn a young but determined explorer searching for gems in a cave full of wasp eggs? No? Have you ever designed any creatures or anything like monsters? Yeah, but not... have I done it professionally? Yeah, I mean for card art, but not great. Oh boy. Alright, so now I want to fill in stuff, and how do I go about doing that? Should I just use paint bucket? I wonder. If I make a new layer and I use paint bucket, it will just fill everything, right? Yep. So what I need to do then is what? Does this have a magic wand? I guess that is what I am looking for. Or select. If I click that, what happens? Oh, here we go. Magic wand. So magic wand is up here, and no, didn't want to do that. So it is pretty sensitive. Okay, target. Transparency fuzzy. Transparency difference 243. What does that do? That's worse. That's kind of better. There we go. There we go. Alright, so what you need is to get this magic wand to transparency, fuzzy, working image, and then it works. And you're still gonna have some weird things, so what you do then is, let's see. So then I can add to my selection using this brush. Great. Great, that's actually really easy. So there's like a select brush, and after you can block in the big areas, then you can use this brush and make a selection. And it's all purple right now, but that's just a mask tone. And then if I go to pen or anything, or bucket, then I can just fill like so. Alright, great. But I want to be on a layer underneath. So I have my layer on top. And then I want to fill with, there we go. That's good. Das ist good, yeah. And I don't want it to be green, I don't want it. He looks like a blonde-haired guy, but maybe he would be a redhead. Alright, so my hue saturation thing, change that. Let's see. I really don't like him in terms of his personality, but this style it's okay. Yeah. Let's give him red hair. Okay. And then, I can double click to name the layer hair. And now I want to deselect everything. Deselect everything. Wait, what? Control D. There we go. And now let's paint his skin, and I can do that on another. Let me just label my layers. So this was a sketch. This is nothing. This is the line art. And can you speak German? No, not at all. No, I'm sorry. Cannot speak German. I know this seems more complicated than Photoshop, but it's actually not. And people were saying it wasn't, and now that I use it, it really is not that complicated. It seems like, okay, they're not intuitive at all. However, once you understand how to do things, it's extremely easy. So I guess that would be my review of Paint Tool Site. It's not intuitive, but it is easy. And bucket. And let's make this guy pale, because he's a ginger. And I'm having difficulty with lighter colors to see what's what. So what I'm gonna do is change the background color to something. He's got red hair and there's a lot of red tones, so maybe this. And so it's the same as Photoshop. Control U opens up hue saturation, and I can just adjust the hue till it's something that I like, and that's good. Okay, and I'm gonna give him green eyes, and yeah. So now I have skin on its own layer. Tablets take a long time to get used to. If it's small, it can be harder, I think. Yeah, tablets do take a while to get used to. Gingers have souls too. Yeah. Well, that's debatable, but Sycra, could you do a video on drawing different body types? Because all the refs I find for bodies are very thin or muscly. Dare you to speak in your best Scottish accent? All right. I suppose this is my best. It's not good, and I know that. What's an Applebot? Applebot's a company in Japan that hires people to do, or they do a lot of card art and other stuff. I don't work for them though. Okay, didn't want to do that, so what I can do is block off this, and hopefully, if my guess is right, the bucket tool will limit itself, or the magic wand will limit. Yep, nice. So if I was using Photoshop, I would do all this with the lasso tool, and maybe I'd use a magic wand. But anyway, so right now, it's still just meh, right? It's not that cool yet, but it will be, I hope. Bucket, and let's fill this with a green and orange. For the stripes, now, no, I'll use a pen and Control Alt, make a pen bigger. Alright, there we go, Control D. Alright, so now I just have to do, that's the shirt, just have to do the eyes. To me was like an Egyptian with black hair and reddish dark skin. While you're using the wand to select in the outline, if you increase the transparency difference, it will fill in more of the smaller areas. Right. Which is a more valuable skill for concept artists? Basic traditional art skills or being a digital art pro? For concept artists, oh man, it depends, because I really want to say basic art skills, because that seems much nicer to me. It feels like if that's the way it should work. But I do know there's a people who just do a lot of photo manipulation. Still, I would say basic art skills are going to be good just in general, because you can use that for everything, right? And art, to me, it's not just about getting a job. It's also enjoying what you do. And art's a great communication tool. So, for instance, let's say you were abroad and meet someone and they don't speak the same language you do, but you have a question and you can just draw and that would explain it. Well, that's cool. Like, that's useful. So I really think having skills in drawing, being able to draw, it's, even if I wasn't a professional artist at all, if I had no ambitions of becoming professional, I still think it's really, really quite cool to be able to do this stuff. It's very useful. And something else that's great about drawing is that your imagination gets better. Your ideas get better. It's not just that you become better at art. It takes time. And this is always so difficult because people talk to me wanting the secret, how do I get the easiest result? And there are ways I can help, like the coil technique can help, but you still have to practice. You still have to do a lot of work. What is your favorite manga or anime? For different reasons. I really like Samurai X, but that's because I saw it when I was young and it had like an emotional significance to me. But I thought Death Note was really nice, at least the earlier episodes. Nah, he needs freckles. He will have them. He will have them. He will have freckles. So stuff like this, I can talk about this a bit. It's actually difficult to be random. So I'm trying to make random freckles, but I actually have to think about it because what my brain naturally wants to do, and let me just make a new layer, and this is what happens when, let's say you're doing a sky, right? And this is not going to be, I'll just fill this with black. I'll fill everything with black. Anyway, good enough. Okay, so say I'm doing a night sky. What is sort of natural to do is to space everything out evenly. So maybe I would do stars, and I'd do something like that, right? And that's just natural for making random things, but it's not random at all. I mean, this is way too uniform. Stars and everything, you get, clumps of things and big areas of space. So it's, in a way, it's much more difficult to create randomness than it is to create just patterns. And even then I'm doing I feel like I'm still not being purely random. So, but it's more random than that one. So it's important to, I don't know, think about these things when you're being random. Like, are you really being random or not? So with these freckles, do that. All right, and I'm gonna set them on their mode to multiply, so that once I start shading, they're gonna naturally be, affected by whatever is underneath. Change eyes color to what? For free side brushes, try searching DeviantArt. I have ADD. If I start getting treatment, will I be more motivated? Will it affect my art in any way? Oh boy. I don't know. I don't know about, I don't even want to go into that. I despise Death Note. I just hated all its characters. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there were very great characters, but I liked the art style. I liked overall the story. Give me your secret art. Secret to art. Keep saying it's drawing. About anime, have you not heard of an ongoing anime called Attack on Titan? It's got pretty different faces compared to normal anime. Most characters look like foreigners. I watched like the first 2 episodes of Attack on Titan, and anyway, I don't want this to become an anime discussion. Would you consider combining Sign Photoshop uses to be better than sticking to one, making the best of both? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? That seems like the natural thing to do. So now I just want to get rid of some layers that I'm not using. Not using the sketch. So I'm going to trash that. And now what I want to do is, first I'm going to color the line art. So I need to lock the transparency, which is preserve opacity. Then I'm going to get my brush and make it kind of big and pick the color that's already there, and then just go a bit, that's a bit too, set the mode to multiply, and a bit darker, a bit warmer. Alright, that'll work. It still could be a bit darker, a bit warmer. Nope, too dark. It's still too dark. There we go. That's good. Right, so now I'm just coloring all the black, so because skin doesn't have a black outline really, and I mean this is, you know, this is all style now. It's all personal preference. It's up to you to color things however you want to. If you want black lines, great. If you want colored lines, that's totally fine. I'm going with colored lines, but you know, you don't have to, so don't feel obligated if you don't like colored lines. And because the transparency is locked, it will not affect any, you know, it won't go outside of the line. And another cool thing you can do when you do color the lines is, usually the lines are darker, but let's say with this orange I actually wanted the lines to be lighter. Well, I can do that too, and it's got somewhat of an interesting effect. Right? Sycra, are you now considering using Sy more in your regular content pipeline? I'm still thinking about it. I'm working on style, and I'm just trying to find what is the best tool to get that done. Because what I've got right now is a lot of styles, or not a lot of styles, but a lot of potential styles. I spent my whole life doing different things, chasing different things. So I was looking for, I was looking to be first a comic book artist, then a manga artist, then a fine artist. So I started chasing that. Then after fine art, it was, yeah, like fine art / portrait painting. And then after that, it was caricature. And after caricature, because I was always jealous of animators' lines because they were so much better than mine, and then I wanted to learn animation. And then after animation, I tried to learn illustration to get into card games and all that. So pretty much for a job. And yeah, it's just been a case of going from one thing to another. Hi dudes, I understand your problems are important to you, but you are all asking questions about mental problems, and I don't think this guy is able to help you out. Right, yeah. Not. Do you like any indie games? I wish I could play indie games. I don't really play games. Any tips to increase creativity and imagination after feeling you've lost most of it? Or would drawing from life just be a good way to increase it? The best way, other than, drawing, because I've mentioned drawing. Draw all the time, it will only help you. But for imagination, here's the thing, and I figured this out recently. So much is about paying attention and learning to pay attention. So real quick, what I'm doing right now is see how I created a new layer above the skin, and I'm going to click clipping group, and that just clips it down to whatever's underneath. And so now when I put in shadows, it's only affecting the skin, and I don't know why. Not that. I'm missing something. Let me just add to the skin then. There we go. So I missed some parts in the skin. But anyway, yeah, so back to what I was talking about. Paying attention. It's so important to just notice things. When you look at something, let's say you wanted to draw a bicycle. Well, don't just look at the wheels and the tires and the frame. Think about how everything connects to everything else. So, how do the pedals connect to the frame? And all those little details, that's what you got to think about in order to improve your creativity, because then what will happen is you'll start to know things. You'll understand that okay, this is how things work for like a bike. This is how it works, so that's what I need to include. When you start drawing it, you'll be thinking about well, it needs to be able to move, so there needs to be this chain here, there needs to be screws, or whatever it is that you need. That's my advice, is to pay attention to all the details, because they're very important. They really do make the image and make your imagination much stronger. Sycra, can art be affected by mood, by what your mood is? Of course. And like, yeah, I mean, that goes without saying, that of course art's going to be affected by your mood. If you listen to certain kinds of music, it's going to affect your mood, and it's going to affect your art. So yeah, definitely. So now what I'm doing is I put in the shadow pretty hard, and now I'm just using an eraser, and it's set pretty soft, and that is for just sort of softening some of the shadows where it gets a bit too strong. Alright, now let's move on to the eyes. I just want to get the eyes in. Be like Miyazaki. He spent days in the park looking at the way girls' skirts moved before tackling Kiki's delivery service. Sure, that's the excuse he told everybody. No, but yeah, Miyazaki's great. The thing about Miyazaki's people is that they breathe. I mean, to me, that's amazing. It means so much, and it says so much about his skill level, that he can do that. He can make characters that they breathe. Oh, I see. Okay, so someone said I should change the eye colors. What color were you hoping for? maybe I can change the eye color to a different color, but well, let's just say for now it's green. I just wanted to try the brush out. Yeah, okay. And I'll make a new layer and put in some highlight in his eye. So where's the light coming from? Well, it seems to be coming from top down, but that's a bit boring, so I'll just make it there. And this layer goes on top. There we go. So highlights and eyes really bring life to your image. Do you have any tips for an intermediate digital artist hoping to transition into realism? Yeah, do the studies where you put an object in front of you and then paint it. So don't rely on photos so much, but paint what you see, and do that every day. Spend an hour, and then it will teach you a lot about lighting. It will teach you a lot about materials. I know you like saying countries' names, so here Egypt says hi. It's not that I like just saying countries' names, it's that I like to see the diversity of my audience. I'm really interested in being a concept artist, but I don't know whether to focus more on the animation major offered at my school or the fine art illustration major. Any thoughts? I don't know. So much of these depend on school, so I can't just say, because every school is different. Do you have a favorite artist you look up to? I have a few favorites that I look up to. I always talk about Kim Jung-gi, Craig Mullins, J. Scott Campbell. Can you talk about Benjamin Jangbin's style? It's cool and very, very saturated colors. Will this be uploaded to your account afterwards? Yep, it's gonna be, I'm recording it, so hopefully that will work. I mean, sometimes, with recordings it doesn't. But yeah, I hope to have it on my channel. Actually, I really don't like the thing I did with the shadows with that soft. I used an eraser to take the edge off. I just want to change that to just using a brush instead of taking the edge off with the eraser. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of the and I'm not liking the brush settings right now either. Density needs to be maybe changed. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of super airbrushy stuff. No. Why doesn't it get... whatever. I want it to get lighter, not darker. Something is weird. Meh. Let's see, water. Save me, water. Meh, not liking that. Let's see. Quebec. If you click that checkered square, where is it? Checkered square. Keep opacity. Don't decay opacity when brush move to unpainted region. Press density, size, and blending. What happens if I take off blending? Nothing. Density. Nothing. What am I doing wrong? Oh. Okay, so I guess you can't do that with a... You need high density. Okay, that's a bit better. And let me use an airbrush for just some smoother shading. Right, and let's move to his hair. So I'm just doing the same thing. I create a new layer above what I have, and then I clip it down. How old am I? 29. You should shade the upper lip. It is shaded a little bit. I don't want to make it too much, 'cause I don't know. But maybe a little bit. You're right. Maybe I could do a little bit more. There. Better? Is that better? And I want to give him a little bit of pink ears and pink in his nose. So I'm gonna make a new layer. I'm gonna clip that down and just add some. Usually, especially with people with light skin that's pale, you really do see the blood on the surface. And then of course I'm exaggerating it, but the thing is, it is there. I'm just pushing it a bit further. And I just want to reduce the opacity of that so it's not quite so intense, but it's still there. So here's with nothing, here's with everything, and there's with, you know, it's visible. You can see it. And what I can do then is make a new layer on top and add like highlights. So, you know, just in certain spots I can add some highlights on his nose and his lip, maybe some on his ear. So it gives it a bit of like a more shiny appearance, right? All right, and I'm sorry if I'm missing questions. It's quite difficult to scroll and scroll down and then see the question. So if I do miss it, maybe just repost after a while. Like, give it some time and then repost your question so I can see it, because I do want to answer your questions if I can, or take your advice, you know. Is it at all possible to give this guy glasses? Yeah, we can try. We can try. Let's try glasses. So let's use a pen. I'm just gonna put them in. Nope, I want it thick on the top. And then have the rim going down. Not from there, from there. This is where I need that stabilizer stuff. All right. Stable. There we go. And then make the frame a bit bigger. And actually, I think he would look good with more thick glasses, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So now that I have that, I'm going to lock the opacity. I'm going to start painting out things like that bottom part of the frame, I actually want it to be light instead of dark, so it's sort of invisible right now. Because his skin's so pale, so maybe I will have to make it a bit darker. So we got that, and then got to be careful with pure blacks because they're usually not there too much. So I'm just getting rid of some of the pureness of that black, and now I want to make a layer underneath that, and I'm going to use select, and I'm just gonna paint all this where the glasses are, like where the glass part of the glasses are. And then what I will do once I have my selection is, so now I have the selection, now I'm gonna get an airbrush and white and make sure my airbrush is big, and just sort of paint up so it will seem like, you know, it's more glassy, and then I'll paint down with like a darker tone. And then I will use a pen and pure white and maybe just, you know, hit certain spots. Oops. So that it looks shiny. Control D. And I'll just clean up some of that where it went over and reduce the opacity so it's there, but it's not so intense. So this is with it off, this is with it on, and maybe something like that. Okay, so now he's got glasses. And what I can do is actually merge this down, Control E, and label this glasses. And now he can have them or not, you know. Doot 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 doot. I don't know, it's a different feeling, right? Do you ever name or think of naming any random characters, people you draw? Not right now. See your comment on the screen. When you first started using a tablet, did you feel limited because you couldn't as easily replicate your traditional skills on it? Yeah, absolutely. And that's why even when I do work with a tablet, and most of my job, whatever, is using a tablet, or, well, using my Cintiq because it's a lot of digital work. But even so, I still stick with using pencil and paper. I never have given that up, and I don't intend to. So I'm going to take an eraser, and I just want to erase some of that, the ear. Just some of the lines seemed a bit too dark. So I'm lightly touching them. And I can also do the same thing for the lip to create a sort of like a softer transition. Might have gone a bit overboard, but there we go. And maybe some with the nose too. All right, now for the shirt. So what I want to do for the shirt is I'm just going to create a new layer, set it to multiply, clip it down, and use maybe a warm gray. And let's see, where's the light coming from there? So it's going to be on this side. It's ugly, I know. 1, 2. I want to fix that. Let's see, just reduce the opacity. Yeah, that'll do. And for the skin, let me add some shadow here. Maybe on the side of his face too. Maybe there's some shadow underneath his eyes. Alright, let's get to comments. Is a Cintiq worth the giant price? If you use it a lot, then it is. Otherwise, no. Draw a frog on his head would look awesome. Oh boy. I'll never get him done. Give him a small mustache. Okay, I'll do the mustache. I'm not sure about the frog. I'm not saying no, just saying I'm not sure. But mustache I can do. Wait, why is this not working? Why is this not? Oh, because I locked. Oh boy. That is exactly what I want though. Just like this really weak mustache. And can create a clipping layer and add some shadows and highlights and stuff to that. Alright, let's get to the hair, because should have gotten to that a while back. So what you might notice is when I add shadows, I tend to go warmer. So, you know, go towards a warm, and I tend to get darker but also more saturated. So for instance, let's say, and that was an okay color, but I pick this color, then I'll go warmer, a bit warmer, a bit more dark, and a bit more saturated. So basically in this direction, and it looks like that, right? So if I went the opposite direction, if I pick this color and I just go darker and then maybe cooler, and cooler sort of in this as well, then you get these kind of shadows that, to me, I don't like it. It depends. It can work too, but personally I prefer going warmer with my shadows, usually. Alright, some sideburns. No mustache, he looks too fancy. Let's give him, he's gonna be a hipster. Yeah, now he's just a hipster. The people wants a frog. Fine. Let me search up what a frog looks like. You don't know what a frog looks like? You're terrible. Okay. Alright. Gonna have to do this with the marker and sort of, you know, figure it out. And what I want to do is extend the canvas a bit so I have more room at the top. Canvas, change size. Top is going to be 130. No. 30. Keep doing 30s. Let's not do 30s. 27. There we go. And then I have to bucket in this background. There. And I'm gonna have to merge some of these layers because I'm getting really confused. There's so many now. This will be the frog sketch. And alright. Whoa! That's not what I wanted to do. Pen. Dark. Yeah. Alright. That's a basic sketch, I suppose. For the frog. And now I can do a... he's quite big though, so I should shrink him. So select... oh, right. This lasso, there we go. Control T. And there, can resize him. Oh my god, as soon as you added the mustache, he now looks like a guy I met during my art college induction last week. It is designed by you guys. Alright, Control D. And now let me use the pen and actually detail this frog. Throw a crown on the frog. It's fine, but you know, eventually this has got to stop so I can, you know, wrap up and get this done. So okay, the crown's the last suggestion, and then just gonna try and finish this up. Alright, now I can get rid of the sketch. And let me paint the line art of the frog. And then I need to use, what do I use? This thing. And I need to use select, fill in all that. And I need to deselect where it went over. Change the glasses to 3D glasses. No, no more changes. No more. Aren't you people satisfied? He has a frog on his head with a crown. Okay. Now, bucket. There we go. And for the crown, oops, Control D. Oh no. Deselect. No, deselect. There we go. Getting a little bit faster with Sy once I learn the stuff. And fill that. What resolution of monitor do you use? I'm using a 22-inch Cintiq, and what is it? A 24-inch other thing, and a second monitor that's 24-inch. It's just a Dell monitor. It's not an IPS monitor. It's the cheap one, and so the colors are pretty terrible. I mean, they're not super bad, but it's not, you know, the amazing colors you would get on, you know, like a Mac screen or anything. And I think that's important. The colors be good. I just, you know, when I can afford it. Crown be blue sky color. Why? Why? That's so weird, a blue sky crown. Okay, let me do the hair and finish this guy up, and then I will get on to making... Well, I said I wouldn't make any more abnormal requests, so I'm not sure. So what I have to remember when I work on the hair now is that he has a frog on his head. So that is going to create shadows. So I need to put in the frog's shadow on his head as well. Otherwise it's not gonna look like, I mean, it still doesn't really look like he's on his head, but that's because I put him after the fact. If I put him during, I would probably have, you know, pieces of hair on top and stuff. Maybe I can do that. Make a new layer on top. I've got so many layers now. And take my pen and just add, you know, random hair. Oops. So it just feels like the frog's in an environment more, a little bit. I mean, it's not great. It's just, it is what it is. It's actually quite terrible. But whatever, right? You know? And now what I have to do is, oh right, his hair could use some highlights. I want to try one of the different modes. Let's use overlay and clip that, and what's that do? That could work. It's just a bit too much. Yeah, so let's just do this. And I'm not going to keep it as extreme as this. I just want something there, and then I can just lower the opacity. Like so. So now when I zoom out, yeah. By now they should give you some room to do your own thing by mixing the realistic studies. You have, oh, someone is, Sycra is like, Sai, why are you people making me draw all this crap? I think it's great how people in the chat can respond to each other, because I can always, and it's good. Airbrush. Let's work on the frog now. Frog. That's a crown. Let's label that. Crown. Frog. And now I gotta get some shading on him. I want to add some color variation as well. And maybe he's a bit wet and has a bit of highlights and stuff on him. So not sure I like that. Alright, let's make him shiny. So I got that, and now to make him all shiny, what I'm going to use is a pen and really light color, and just add, little speculars everywhere. And I know it's too intense now, so what I'm going to do is take the eraser and just knock back some of that. So you feel it, but you don't necessarily have to see it that much. But it'll still be there. Right, and I can also put some back in, All right. He would look better with chin hair. Draw a mushroom in his mouth, maybe. In his mouth. Oh, you guys so crazy. There we go. And he's gonna have like, I don't know if I'll keep his, right now his eye looks like he's closed and he's just sort of happy, but I could also, you know, make his eye open and he's actually looking at us. And yeah, I mean, why not? I'll do that. This image is so weird. And I'm gonna give the frog some freckles as well, just to match his. Or I guess this guy is owned by the frog. This dude is my favorite fairy princess. Oh boy. Oh, that's what I need. The underbelly gets lighter. Alright, and then for the crown, just real quick, can add some basic shading to that. Make a new layer, set it to overlay, clip it down, and just add with the pen some highlights. There we go. Alright, so that's that. And let me change some of this too. There. And then what was the frog had lipstick, right? So there we go. Probably should make it stand out a bit more. It's a bit too dull right now. Oh boy. Oh, I need to zoom in. Wow, that looks terrible when I zoom in. All right, and I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to. All right, let me just go over his. Fine. This is it, though. There. Where is my mother sitting on this ginger's... Why is my mother sitting on this ginger's head? I don't know. You gonna do the guy's shirt? Oh, I'm tired. How do you do the airbrush so well? Whenever I use it, it looks as though a 10-year-old drew it. I don't know. I think you make it big. That's often the thing. This is a Wisely from Harry Potter. Make the guy feeding from a long straw some soda in a cup. No. It's done. No more. No more, please. What do you think about Kynan Lafferty's art show? I've never seen it. Is it good? It's great how despite all of these zany requests, you still manage to show and talk about lots of different techniques and stuff. Oh, I'm glad. Erase everything you have ever drawn and only draw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan art from now on. Alright, well, anyway, so this is, I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. This is my second try with Psy. Hopefully I didn't fail quite as miserably as I did the first time. Thank you everyone who came around and who gave advice and who stayed here for, geez, it's like an hour and 45 minutes to watch this. I'm not sure I would if I was you. But thank you. And in the words of Zia,
have a good day. Bye-bye.